Tom Storey, apparently.
Welcome, Stephen, to Toronto, your favorite city in Canada. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
When was the last time we've been together physically?
Oh, what are you asking?
Weird way to
exactly,
start
Tom?
the show. Probably been a while.
Speaking of which, should we start the show?
Let's start.
We
the
are
show.
live. Let's start the show. Here we go.
Welcome to the Tom Storey Show with Steve Karrasch and Tom Storey, where we discuss everything real estate or whatever else is on our minds.
Good morning, everybody in the chat. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Corey. I can see a few names coming through. Thank you guys all for being here. This is obviously something new for us. We're going to try to go live today and hope that the internet works. And we have a few topics that we want to get to, but I'd really love for the chat to be interactive and really just do kind of Q&A style. Also, Steve, I couldn't help but notice there was another real estate show that must have forgot there was a time change today because they posted at a weird time, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. You seem to be wearing something that resembles their old logo.
There's no other real estate shows, is there?
Well, not many. But I will tell you, this real estate show, because we are live, I have to say that we are proudly sponsored by Realty Ninja. If you're a real estate agent watching us today or watching the replay at any point.
They're up there, Tom.
Oh, they're up there. Hello. Go to realtyninja.com/Tom. If you're not happy with your website or there's any hesitation in, if you're proud of it, check it out. 20% off your first year.
Do not pay with your credit card until you launch.
Yeah.
Save 20% on your first year. Realty Ninja's awesome. I love those guys. They're fantastic. I personally use them. So if you're a real estate agent,
Yeah, there you go.
realtyninja.com.
/Tom.
If you're here in the live chat, make sure to comment. Let us know where you're coming in from. My kids are already up. Damn time change. Yep. Yeah, my toddler didn't seem to care that we were supposed to get an extra hour this morning.
He was my wake-up call this morning. That was nice.
Yes, exactly. But if you're here, make sure to like the video. And if you're watching us live or on the replay and you haven't already, make sure to get subscribed. I think the next kind of milestone for us, Steve, is 6,000, which is...
Is that where we're at? 6,000?
Well, we're like
What are we at?
57 something. We're getting there.
We are on Starlink, so I'm going to turn off my cell phone.
Victoria, BC. There you go.
All right. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Well, welcome back to the show. We're excited for you to all be here. I'll be watching the chat. I will tell Steve what the questions are as they come in, and we'll get them. We got someone from Niagara Falls.
Tom, I had a question I wanted to start with.
Yeah, go for it.
We get so much crap as real estate agents. We get so much crap because we only want the market to go up. What's the perfect real estate market for you?
For me, as a real estate agent,
As a real estate
or
agent.
as just a
No, as a greedy, dirty real estate agent, what's the perfect one for you? Because everybody always thinks that we only want prices to go up.
right.
That we're pushing prices up, even though that's not working right now.
Can
You're
I-
doing really bad at pushing the condo market up.
Yeah,
by
I
the
should
way.
get credit for it going down. Actually, I don't want credit for that.
But what's the perfect market for you?
Okay.
Like working as a real estate agent, what would you like to see out there?
Can I first tell you what's happening now and why it's not a perfect market?
Sure.
So a lot of people in Toronto, especially a lot of our clients, we sold them their condo 5 to 7 years ago, and they're either now in a relationship, they have a dog, the first kid is coming, and they all want to sell that condo and buy a house. And why it's not a perfect right now is because the condo market is so saturated that it takes a long time to sell that. So it's like they're at the bad end of things on that side. And then the house that they want to buy is that semi-detached, anywhere from, let's call it $1 million to 135 in a good pocket of Toronto. And it's super competitive. So it's like, it's going to be tough to sell what you got. It might not have gone up in value in the past 4 years. And then what you want to buy next, there might be 6 offers on it.
Okay.
So you're kind of screwed on both ends.
So you're double screwed if you're trying to upsize from a condo
Yeah.
to like a semi-detached or a detached.
Yes.
What's the perfect market? Think broad-based. Think
For
everybody.
Okay. The perfect market for me would be 4 months of inventory for every asset class in the entire city and staying at 4 months of inventory for an entire year. So it's not crazy. It's not quite seller's market. You're a hint above You're like in the seller side of balance market, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of tipping downwards. There's still going to be competition on some stuff, but generally, and at 4 months of inventory, you'll see a little bit of price growth, but nothing crazy. And people will be able to upsize, downsize, move all around, and you won't see the fluctuation.
Okay.
So for me, it would be that. What would it be for you?
It's pretty close. So I'll let you read some of these and come up with some comments. So leave your comments in, but I'll give you my idea because I was thinking about this. It's just one simple word. It's just certainty. I just wanted, because I was working through a transaction just this week with somebody, and, you know, we're worried about price and, you know, where we're going to be, and the market's going up, the market's going down, whatever's going on. And I went through so much of my career in the beginning where I was absolutely certain within $10,000 where that property would sell.
Right.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And the seller still hated you for not getting them enough, and the buyer still didn't want to pay that. But it always sold within that 10,000. So just like a year, 2 years, 3 years of like within $10,000 of the guess. The problem is now the prices have doubled. So that's got to be within $25,000.
Right.
And everybody's still like, should I offer like $1,511,000 or should I offer $1,512,000? What's it really worth, Tom? And you're like, okay, well, this is such a minuscule number, but I would love to not have to guess that number being $50,000 spreads.
Right.
Just like a nice, calm,
but
collected market.
all we've had is fluctuations.
Yeah.
All we've had is crazy highs and market dropping off. And we haven't had a calm, boring market, at least for my like 11 years of doing this. And I think you're at what, 42 years now?
72
years of selling real estate.
I'm actually becoming the old guy now.
We got someone from Milton in the chat, from Ottawa.
From Surrey, BC.
Surrey. Oh my God. Surrey, BC. That's early in the morning for someone from Surrey to jump on. Thanks for being here. Someone said they're currently on their way to view a property in Cambridge. Detached house listed at $450,000. Realtor said in advance they won't take a dime less than $550,000. So that's interesting, actually, Corey, because that strategy, I'm guessing for that property, they would have an offer date on that. That's why they've gone low.
Could be. Okay, so I saw a property the other day, and it was a development property. I screenshotted it. Let me read it to you without revealing anything. Tom, filibuster.
Oh, well, actually, you know what? As you're doing this, Steve, I should probably show the audience. We had some viewer mail sent in.
Never mind, I deleted it.
Someone sent us a package. Yeah. And hold on, I'm going to read the note here. It says, "Hey guys, love the show. Huge fan. Wish I could be like you when I get older. Signed, TK and Daryl."
Oh,
that's so nice.
Look,
check what they sent. Look at this.
Oh, look at that.
It's like a shirt that was probably cheaply made somewhere.
It's definitely cheaply.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks TK and Daryl. We appreciate you guys sending that in. We got people from Collingwood, Winnipeg. So people in the West Coast are tired.
I deleted the picture, but I screenshotted it, and it was like I guess it was a subdivision, and it was like, I want to say it was like $4.5 or $4.8 million.
Okay.
And then it said in the realtor comments, which the public can't see, a reasonable offer is $3.5 million or higher.
They put that right in there. I don't think I've ever seen that.
But I've never seen it either. And then it was like, okay, so if you're considering 3.5,
yeah,
then why do you have it at 4.8? Like, you need seller's authorization to put it in there that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, just absolutely. And that's the reverse, right? That's the reverse of what you're talking about, where it's like, oh, we have to have this much. But it's a silly strategy, and I'm still seeing it being used.
But okay, so I'm going to play the other side. If you're a seller and you have two options, and you're in a seller's market, there's lots of demand for your type of property. And option one is, hey, list a little bit low, set an offer date, get as many people through as possible. When competition comes up, sometimes people get emotional and they'll pay more money for your house. Or we could just list at what we think we're worth and hope it comes. That's the problem, though. Is like,
but you find where market value is.
But if you get 3 offers on your house, is that not showing you where market value?
It's exactly where market value is.
Right. But isn't that better to do it that way, to know for sure, instead of just like, I think it's here, let's put it here and see what happens?
In my market right now, I think you need that little bit of wiggle room, because not that many people are going to go. Like, they might go to ask. They're not going over ask.
I'm more talking about when things were really moving. Like, it was 90% of the properties in 2021 had an offer date on them, right?
Yeah.
It was like,
but then you would undersell it if you took the first offer that came
that's
in,
it,
because you would start seeing you wouldn't get an opportunity to get everybody through.
We used to literally, like, our active condo and house buyers and the craziness, when we found a listing that came up that didn't have an offer date, we would call them, be like, let's go see it now. Let's get there first. They're not using the strategy.
They screwed up. They screwed up.
That everyone else is using.
Should we get to some questions? What should we do? Oh, hang on. I got other things.
Fort McMurray, welcome.
I think we have a premier now again in BC. So
Yeah, so your election is official finally.
I think so. Maybe.
So EB and Ravi are
back in.
Back in at the helm.
We'll see if Ravi won his his riding. So
did he not? I think he did.
No, he did.
Okay.
By a landslide, actually.
Good for him.
And yeah,
congrats
for him.
Ravi. Yeah.
And I don't know if he'll stay on as housing minister because often they shuffle them, right?
Oh, really?
So that's a question.
You think after everything they've done,
he
would walk? I don't think he'd walk away.
No. But no, what they do is they shuffle the file they're on.
Okay.
Right. So now you'll go from that to like finance or you get shifted around a bunch, right? Health or whatever. So whatever the file is. So we got that going on. You read the comments. I'm going to read this. Oh, I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
You are no longer a condo owner.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because who wrote that here? Jeff said, from Ottawa, I sold all my condos in 2020. No regrets. Like the tattoo Steve has across his chest, I think says something similar.
It says Thug Life.
Yeah, so I NDP is going to audit Steve.
Thank goodness they don't have that ability.
Yeah, so as somebody that sells a lot of condos and invested in a lot of them early, I guess, in my real estate career, I'm out. I no longer have any condo ownership. I only own freehold properties. And I think long term, so you know what it was actually is I decided this anyways, but and the last one was because I owned it with somebody else and their life situation changed, so we sold it. Like I would have kept it. But we went to a Graybrook event after we had Sasha on, and watching everything they were talking about, and they're the ones going to the city and getting approvals for these projects. And they're like, listen, the only thing that's happening is density. That's it. Like the only thing that's going to be approved in the future of the city of Toronto is going to be high-rise condos. That is the only way we are bringing inventory to the market. And if you look, like this is something we've talked about a lot, but like the gap in price has gone up pre-pandemic till today, 28%. The gap has grown 28% from the average condo to the average detached house. And if I'm looking at this as someone that wants to own real estate and invest in real estate, if you can afford to get into freehold, I just think long-term, if we're only going to build more condos, aren't the houses just going to continuously
get
more valuable? Like how could they not? So that's my current way
because
of
every
looking
time
at
they
things.
like, let's say they take 4 houses and they even just put it into a low rise, that's 4 houses out of the detached market,
right?
And 400 units in, or whatever the math is on it, right?
It's a good point. Yeah, even if you're taking down a bunch of old houses to put in condos, now you're
you get
losing
more
those
housing units, but the housing that people want becomes more scarce.
Hey guys, long time listener from Bolton, Ontario. Congrats on the success. Love the content and the guests. That's awesome. Thank you for watching. Good morning from Kingsville. Is it worth closing on a condo that only covers most of the interest, fees, and taxes with rent, but you're paying the principal and 200 to 300? Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
That's where
here.
most of our investors are.
I think that's kind of the reality for anybody buying it. I guess the question.
It's getting better.
The question would be for my YouTube is that's the name of the commenter would be, are you buying this just as an investment forever? How long are you going to hold it for? How old's the building? Is it under rent control?
I definitely wouldn't look at it like as like a super like awesome option unless there was some other reason to own that property, right? Like I don't think we should be looking for, can we just have someone pay off just our interest and costs and then I'll pay my own principal down. I don't think that's a very good metric. But when I bought my condo, it was 100% financed and breaking even. So like there were opportunities out there.
Right.
I don't know if they're out there now. I don't know if they're going to come back. I feel like they will come back.
I don't know. Right now, the condo market in Toronto is, it's weird. Like I had 3 offers on something yesterday. I got an offer on something this morning. So it's like slowly things are coming back, but it's only if they're priced like bang on. Like you can't go high at all or you get nothing.
Think about it though. If you're an agent, not let alone the buyer, but like you're an agent and somebody says, okay, I want to go see these style of properties. and you do your search and it's like 755 fit the criteria. You're like, okay, what am I going to pick now? I'm going to pick the lowest price, or I'm going to pick the building I know is good. We got to narrow something down because I can't see 755 properties.
I'm guessing this is pretty much the same as when you're sitting on the couch and you turn on Netflix with your wife. You're like, what do you want to watch, honey?
Yeah, there's nothing here.
You spend 30 minutes scrolling through and you're like, screw this. I'm turning this off. Let's go to bed.
Yeah.
Right?
So then there's, I don't know what just happened, but on my screen something happened. Hopefully it didn't happen there. Maybe it did. Like when
yeah, it did.
This is the new Apple software.
It's like hand motions.
It's like if I do this, I think it actually will pop up. See, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Pop. I don't know how to turn that off. Anyway, when I showed townhouses back in the day in Clayton Heights, so we were just like inundated with just townhouses, and they were like kind of like the floor plan of your old place, right? Just like tandem style parking, 3 beds. It was just nonstop. And so at one point, I just was like, I'm only showing end units. That's it.
Right.
So if you're a middle unit,
because there's so many to choose from.
There's so many to pick from. I might as well just show end units because I'm going to get an end unit for the same price as an inside unit. Why would I ever bother on the other units, right? Yeah. And that's what you have to think of when you're in this type of a market that we're in, particular. Well, your market in particular.
One of the questions that came up was, are any pre-construction projects selling? I actually have some insider information on this.
No.
There was a launch of one that was one of the few launches, I guess, recently, and was supposed to be the one that was priced right and was going to sell out. And I think it got like 50 worksheets, and they had like 400 units. So the simple answer is no. There's a really good graph. I think Skrinko shared it. I'm sure Fosu has shared it online, but from Edge Analytics from Ben Rabideau, and basically just showing like if we think long term here about the Toronto condo market, it's like, well, when does it get better? It's hard to say it would get better price wise next year because there's the most new units being completed that we've had in like 15 years. Yeah. It's huge. There's so much coming, all at prices that they're not worth what they paid for them.
Yeah.
So now 40 doesn't mean 40,000 condos come for sale,
but we're going to have a flood at some point here in the next year or two.
Well, it's going to be, so it's like, okay, less international students, rent prices were already going down in the city of Toronto. I think Vancouver as well, rent prices were, I mean, you know, not significantly, but
okay. So I didn't get what I thought I might get for my condo.
Yeah.
But I still got a $250 a month raise from what I was already getting. And that was rented in 2021.
Yeah. But there was a big lift in that time, no?
Right. So, it's huge lift.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I bought that condo, I was thinking that I would get $1,800 or $1,900.
Right.
I rented it for 21, which I was like, okay. And then now I'm at like just under 2,500. I thought I might get 26 or more.
But you got the tenant you wanted, so.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Very, very happy with what's there. But yeah, you're going to have a bunch of these people be returned home, if they're going to call it that. Did you see that CBC scam where they're paying their own wages now to come over here? Like they're getting a job and then through like a consultant, they get a job and then they had to pay the job in order to get a paycheck to be in Canada. Like it was just a total scam, right? So I think you're going to see this. I think there's going to be downward pressure on that sector, but it's going to be exactly what you are saying. It's going to be exactly what you're talking about. Like I think you're going to get a flood of condos in the next few years. It's probably going to be a tough go.
Yeah.
And then people that can afford to get to that family home, like what you live in now, they're just bidding on it like crazy. Daryl Waddy's in the comments, and I think he just paid us money.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Oh, I have my Waddy Way hat upstairs too, and I didn't wear it. I was going to put it on.
$27.99. Daryl, how did you come to that number?
Daryl, when I see you in a couple of days, by the way, you could have just given me that money.
Cam's here too.
You could have just given me that
if you
money,
don't donate after Daryl, that's really disappointing. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Sneaky Pete's the best donator on my channel too. Look at that. Everybody's there.
All right.
Anyway, so did I totally sidetrack us?
You don't have to donate, but make sure to like this video, get subscribed, and be active in the comments. We would really
just
appreciate it.
Slip me $20. That way YouTube doesn't take 65%.
Let me finish my thought on the next little bit of condos, because everyone's trying to figure out, when is it not going to be like this? I don't think 2025 prices are going to go up because there's so much new stuff coming to the market, and there's a lot that is still currently on the market, right? Even if it's just lease stuff, that'll put pressure on rental prices going down a little bit. If you then keep going 2026, there's still a good chunk that are going to come. 27, 28, I think like 2028, there's like 5,000 completions.
Yeah.
So,
You're gonna go real bad for a little bit and then straight back. It's like, what do they call it?
A roller coaster?
Well, yeah, no, I'm thinking it's like feast or famine.
Right.
Right. And so that's why, like, I'm looking at the market right now and going like, there are options where if you want to buy a condo, you can get in now while rates are getting to a spot where they're a little better.
Yeah.
And prices are still going down. Like, there's going to be opportunity missed in the next,
of course there is.
6 months.
Of course there is.
Right. People are going to be like, oh, I should have got at the inn at that time, because when the rates do come down enough to make it affordable, more affordable for people, then you're going to have everybody jump back in, and everybody's going to be pissed off that they're back into multiple offers at some point in time. And to your point, the units that they are making
aren't great.
They're 450 square foot, almost junior one beds or whatever they are. Right.
So that's the thing. If you break down right now what's currently for sale for condos, and Sean Hildebrand said this. He's the CEO or president of Urbanation. If they're like an amazing resource for data on the Toronto condo market. We watched his presentation last week at our brokerage, and he was saying that like a good chunk of the active inventory are buildings that have come to the market in the last 5 years. So it's like a lot of it is this newer, maybe like I bought this as an investor because the numbers made sense when I bought it. They don't make sense now with the interest rates going up. I'm just going to try to sell that. So it's like you almost have to break it down. And when you look at what's actively for sale right now, there's like 75% like not great options and 25% decent ones that you'd actually be interested in buying. There's not that many. Like, I know there's a lot on the market, but a lot of it's like just priced way off or just not ideal floor plans. Mm-hmm. Like right now, if you don't have a good view, if you have a bad view in your condo, the only way to sell it is to undercut the price of all your competition. No one's willing to be like, okay, like it has to make sense a lot lower on price point to for the buyer to actually show up.
But there's option, like if you're gonna go out there and put in work, you're gonna find someone who wants to go. Mm-hmm. You're gonna find somebody that needs to go.
Right? So somebody just put in there, it's actually interesting. I'm mortgage pre-approved, just waiting for the market to bleed a little more before I buy my first home. So I guess the question is like, how much more does it have to go down? And I'd be interested for the person that commented this. What does it need to do for you to feel comfortable? Like for you to feel safe to enter the market, what needs to happen from here?
Look at this comment that's obviously late to the show. Tom should be wearing a shirt as well. Yeah, we had one mailed in by our fanboys. We had fan mail earlier.
We had fan mail that we did earlier. It was really nice. 2 young kids.
Yeah.
From Toronto, I think.
Just like you one day, something like that. So, yeah. We read it earlier. Watch it on replay. It was really good.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Sneaky Pete, always there.
Another donation.
Great channel. I've been watching it. I'm not a vapor, but his channel is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's on vapes?
He does vape stuff.
Okay.
I don't do the vape stuff.
Well, thanks, Sneaky Pete.
Yeah, start reviewing Scotch and I'll watch even more. Was there anything else up here?
Yeah, I gotta go back to some comments here. Before we even started, Jeff wrote something about what percentage of inventory is going to come off the market at the end of this year.
It's usually something like 15 to 20%, or sometimes even more.
Like the December 15th date, if it hasn't sold.
It's not even December 15th. It's usually like December 31st. So like a lot of agents will put their end date. Like if I'm signing a contract in August, I'll just be like, okay, I'll put this for December 31st, just for easy math.
Right.
And then that day rollover is where just a ton fall off.
So expireds and cancellations.
Expireds usually. Cancellations will start coming off just before Christmas probably. Right. But that rollover of expireds right at the end of the year really drops. It can drop hundreds. It could drop thousands in our marketplace. And then that's why I love to kick those people off at the beginning of the year. I'm like, guys, if you
get back to the market because there's
the new hot listing come in. I think this year it's going to be late because the 2nd is like on a Thursday or a Friday. So I think you want to be coming on like the 7th this year.
Gotcha. Okay.
January 7th. Yeah. And then you'll actually fly out the gate, get sold, and then have plenty to pick from in the future. And then the other part of that is often when I do sell those, because you're the only thing on the market, you can usually negotiate a really long close.
Yeah.
So I'll have lots of people that sell in January and then they don't close until May. So now they have
because
March
you can,
to shop, right? February and March to shop when all the stuff starts coming on the market.
Steve, what do you think is the average mortgage in Greater Toronto? Mortgage amount or payment? I'm guessing mortgage amount. So think about how many people have owned their homes recently versus for a long time.
If I had to bet, 800 grand.
No.
Yeah.
You think it's that high?
Well, you're thinking.
I'm thinking everyone.
Thinking everyone. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking everyone. Think that high? I would say like 650, 7, because there's a lot of people with no mortgage. So we're only saying the people with mortgages.
But I think my average condo buyer probably has like a 550 mortgage now.
Yeah. No, you're probably right.
So if you're at a 550 mortgage, then if you go like townhouse, like we have so many more townhouses.
But how many people do you know that have a mortgage over $1.5 million?
Almost no one.
Nobody, right? So like even if your house is worth $3 million, it's probably because you traded up several times.
Yeah.
And your mortgage isn't half the value of the
I
house.
spoke to a guy the other day that said somebody he knows has a $24,000 a month mortgage payment. Okay, so this is an interesting thing I meant to show you, and I wish I was smart enough to have brought it up here, but I had a KREA presentation.
Can we just show it to the camera?
Maybe.
I think so.
I mean, not. I can try. Anyway, what I wanted to, it was talking about the type of property in my market that can go from now with the new rules. What do you call it? The CMHC million to 1.5.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, this isn't really going to affect anybody. Now they still have to qualify for the payment.
Mm-hmm. But
this is what he brought up. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. Fraser Valley rancher, so single level homes.
Okay.
Average price 1,313.
Okay.
So those now go to a lower down payment.
Mm-hmm.
A Cloverdale, where I am, 1,311 for a single story. So these are all kind of like ranchers, right? An Abbotsford 2-story, the average price is 1.268. A Newton, which is a area in Surrey, 1,315.
Mm-hmm.
North Delta, where my office is, just under 1.4. These are all detached homes that are now going into a lower down payment.
So what do you think is going to happen with them?
Well, then what he did is he plotted. I wish I was smart enough to have put this up, and I am not. I apologize. Then he plotted the how much the down payment comes down in those areas.
Yeah.
So you still need the income to support it, but almost $160,000 less in a Fraser Valley rancher to put down.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, and if you just take the average price of a sale in Toronto, like our entire market is like 1.1 million. So the average property
is all going
into being able to put down less money, get qualified to buy it when you would have been previously with less than 20% down. Like, it's almost like that rule change in our markets, because I know the rest of Canada, it's not the same thing, is just bringing more demand to the segment of the market that didn't need it.
Here, look at this. This is the difference.
Okay.
And
I'm going to try to show people.
So the blue lines are the old down payment and the red lines are the new down payment.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Right. So, and then you can't really see it, but it's all sorts of different areas. The reason I actually didn't put these up is because this is actually me taking pictures of their slides, and there was some guy's like bald head right in the corner of the picture.
Right.
And it wasn't my bald head.
We have Daryl Waddy has been outbid.
Look at this celebrity sighting.
Oh my God, Richard Robbins is here, people. We should probably give them a plug. I think
we probably should, because
that's why Steve's here.
It's the whole reason I'm here.
Yeah.
So if people don't know, we are a part of Richard Robbins International. That's how Tom and I met. Rich has been a guest on the podcast, one of our early episodes. He should come back on.
He should come back, Rich. If you're still here, you should come back.
He's learned his lesson.
Yeah.
And he's in the live chat and in the comments. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Richard.
If you're a real estate agent and you are struggling,
I don't even think we need to give them a shout out because the event sold out next week.
Yeah, but they should.
It's not even
still-
tickets left.
Well, no, I mean, if there was tickets left, we would be probably selling them, trying to get people in there. But they sell out. They do a good job. They're probably the reason why we do so well in our business. So
Yeah, me and Steve are friends because we paid Rich. That's literally the truth.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rich, for the donation. We appreciate it. We will try not to give out as many Tom Storey Show stickers at the event this time because we know that frustrated you.
Rich, I'm bringing these to the event. They're going to be all over the place.
Okay. All right. I want to. Can we just go up a little bit in the chat here?
Yeah.
I want to get some quick fire questions here.
Where you tell me? What
Go down past Sneaky Pete's donation. I sold before I bought and need an extension. The seller tried to hold me over the barrel, so we got a bridge instead. Curious to know what you think is a fair compensation for a seller for an extension. It depends on the amount of time, but
I had a client this year where I negotiated. There was something happened in the closing, and something happened with financing, and the buyer was like trouble, and my seller was not an easy person to deal with.
sure.
And it was also a very dirty, messy situation. I negotiated $5,000 per day.
How many days was it though?
3.
Okay, well, yeah, you gotta say that. You think you're gonna get $5,000 a day for a month?
The possession was already 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
So it was like complete this day, possess this day. If we just moved it,
yeah.
they could have compensated us for property tax and it would have been just fine. But no, they had to, this guy wanted this much money and we ended up getting it. And then there was, this is the best part. There was legal fees in order to do the extension by $500.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to pay the legal fees after getting $5,000.
Can you go up to this one for a little bit? Okay. What do you think the months of inventory will be for Toronto condos next summer? I have a 1-bed that I'd really like to sell in September, but I'm afraid I need to hold into a few more years. Yeah, I think it depends on when you bought it, what year you bought it.
What is your measure of success is the real question that you have to have answered first, right? Everybody says it's a good time to sell. Is it a good time to sell? Well, is it a good time to buy? What is your measure of success?
But to answer the question, if I'm totally guessing here, like, because I don't know, but if we're currently sitting in Toronto at the end of the year at about 7 months of inventory for condos, next summer, with all the new inventory that could come to the market and could come for sale, I don't know. It could be the same.
But, well, you could have...
I mean, it could flip so quickly that I could be totally wrong. It could be worse.
The thing with months of inventory is that you could have inventory go down and sales slow, and you actually have months of inventory go up.
Sure.
Right? So
yeah, because it's the
general
percentage
inventory.
selling, not necessarily how many listings.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's some opportunity there right now, because we're actually starting to see a little bit of that situation going on. So although October was apparently better than September, I feel like I'm going against the market. Because I had like a gangbuster beginning of the year. I had a terrible spring. I had a gangbuster summer. And everybody's like going the opposite of me.
Well, that's fine.
It
Doesn't matter.
me. I'm having a good year.
Steve, almost 200 people are watching us live right now. So just want to say thank you for everybody that got up early on your Sunday morning and is checking out the show.
You're welcome for the extra hour of sleep last night that we arranged for you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Steve, this one's for you. Langley or Maple Ridge up to 1.3 detached house, and why? I'm on the fence. Do you have a preference?
Yes.
Why?
Maple Ridge is one of those markets where everybody coming to the Lower Mainland goes, I want to live in Maple Ridge, because they see the price point and then they don't realize exactly what Maple Ridge is. So there are some really nice areas. There is also a lot of drug use. There's also a lot of other negatives. There's also a longer commute. There's all these different kind of things depending on where you're going to be.
Right.
I understand why a lot of people end up there. They usually end up there because, I don't want to be in Surrey, so I'm going to look at Maple Ridge. And it's like, because they're not really doing their research correctly on what's where. I think you would be hard pressed though. If 1.3 is your price range, you will do better in Maple Ridge than you will in Langley, because it's just further away.
You'll get a bigger house.
You
just have more options?
That's entry level.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's entry level. It's 1.3.
It's wild to me how expensive the burbs of Vancouver are. Like it's crazy. Like, because our burbs would be like Durham, and there's obviously expensive houses out there, but like it's not like they don't start at 1.3.
It's
You
so
can
stupid. I was helping a client in Vancouver this week, and so I just took my like specs for my home,
Yeah.
and I just plugged them into the same neighborhood, and it was like $4.5 million. My house is like 1.7 in Surrey, so Vancouver is expensive, and I feel like, yeah, Vancouver is crazy if you actually want to be within the city in a detached property. It's absolutely insane.
Okay, let's scroll down a little bit here.
But 1.3, you would be straddling the line. So if it was me, I would definitely be in Langley. I would look towards North Langley personally. South Langley is becoming a thing there. So South Langley's the area where they had like big lots and septic and all that sort of stuff, and now they've put in sewer, and it's changing quickly. It's going to be super dense.
Leo, thanks for watching from. Oh, you moved it on me. Sorry. We're trying to catch up on the chat here. Thanks for listening from Regina. How much do you think prices will continue to go down? Do you mean slightly or 40 to 50% crash, like how people are saying? And if so, are they referring to resale market or taking a 40% hit on pre-con? I've said this many times. I think the tools that the banks are using right now and everything that the federal government is currently doing is not going to allow, I know this sounds like total realtor jargon, but that type of crash would very much surprise me. I think condos will drop a little bit more in price this year because there's a lot to choose from, but single family homes, I think, will stabilize and we'll have a good year next year with the new mortgage rules.
And so at that same CREA presentation, they plotted from 2017 till now costs associated with building, and they broke it out to like plumbing, electrical, and electrical actually didn't move much, but like lumber and woodwork and framing and stuff was all up like 130%.
Crazy.
So when all of your building costs have doubled in 7 years, he's like, there's no way you can build new. So that, if anything, that is probably going to, where I do think we are,
like the replacement cost is so high.
It's so high.
Yeah.
So where I do think we are is now, if we actually do get this like reduction in all sorts of immigration, not just PRs like they announced, but like everything. The temporary worker thing is a like joke to me. I know we're supposed to bring in temporary workers, but there's kids that can't get part-time jobs now anywhere, right? 15-year-olds aren't working and that sort of thing. But I do think that this could all counteract, and if we're lucky, we go into the first part of the conversation, why I came up with that question for you at the beginning of the show. What if we just actually smoothed out for a while?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
So nice.
It'd be boring for our YouTube videos, but it would be nice for everyone's life. Buyers, sellers, everybody.
Another boring month of 0.
Someone asked, what's the breaking news? The breaking news is that the Canadian Real Estate Show posted early today because they forgot about the time change. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that.
They don't wear Rolexes like Tom Storey.
How much more would a condo on the top floor penthouse be than the condo on the same floor below? Yeah, I mean, penthouse these days just means top floor. It doesn't necessarily mean it's special.
So I saw a crazy penthouse that the Tom Storey team listed this week, and how much crazier is that versus say something below? Because I
do some self-promotion on that?
Tom on like a rooftop in Toronto, and there's like a hot tub, and there's like it looked like maybe even a putting green or like some grass area or something out there, and I'm like, Tom, have you started hitting above your weight class here?
I will say, because we get to sell a lot of properties, this is probably the most special place I've ever listed.
So if you take that exact place and how beautiful and gorgeous it is,
I mean,
and then you take, so now obviously you got to scrape off the rooftop terrace, but if you take that exact unit and move it down a floor,
like what does what does it mean having PH or LPH or doing lower penthouse in buildings now? What does that mean to value? It's a perception thing when you get in the elevator and your friends click it and you feel cool, right? But yeah, the place we listed has its own pool. It's like they have the whole roof of the building. They have almost 2,000 square feet just on the roof, and it's right in King West. And then the inside is a 2-story loft, which is another 2,200 square feet. It is the most spectacular place that I think we've listed ever.
Pretty cool.
It is amazing.
It looked pretty cool.
Okay, we got a donation here. So Seneca is closing the Markham.
Super thanks, Tom.
Super thanks. Sorry,
not a donation.
Closing the Markham campus, citing a dramatic drop in the number of international students. How will this impact rent and home price?
So positively, I think, and not positively as in going up.
Yeah, go down.
I actually just put out, did I put it out? Maybe it's coming out this week while I'm here. I did a video about investors and how you should not, having a foreign student or student be maybe student, I guess, if you're in some sort of housing that would make that work. But like in my area, there's like these offshoot campuses of like UBC and Simon Fraser University and all that stuff. So they're like, they're people looking for students in a city area, and they want this foreign student, this magical foreign student, to be their tenant. I think it's a terrible tenant to have, because sure, their money's probably coming from rich parents overseas, but what did you do in your college years?
I was great.
I was not, first of all, didn't go to college, but I spent those years
popping hubcaps.
But I spent those years partying my face off.
Right.
And I don't want that to be happening in my investment property. Especially, like, we had people crashing all the time. You want to be on the couch for a week? Sure, man. Like,
right.
I don't know. But you don't want that.
Well, I mean, but it's the same thing. It's expectations. You got to know if you're buying that style of property, what your potential tenant's going to be, and being okay with that, right?
Because I'm sure there's some areas where you have, like, where did you go? Guelph?
I went to Guelph, yeah.
So if you go to Guelph, I'm sure there's actual housing built that might be purchasable.
There is.
That's built for that sort of thing.
But we lived in a regular house.
Okay. So you like got together with buddies and...
Yeah, 4 of us lived in a house.
That would have been awesome.
You know, it's funny, actually. I don't know if Cam's still watching, but Cam, who works for me, went to Guelph together, and there was one of the house that was like the party house with all of our friends that we'd always go to. I can remember the address. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I can remember the address so clearly because it was close to downtown. You go there before going out to the bars and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And that house, now that, you know, I've been out of university for 11 or 12 years, whatever it's been now. I know, you know, I don't want to bring up, you know, how old you are, but we looked back at that exact house, and once our friends moved out, they renovated it and sold it. And we look back and be like, the day they bought it, then they rent it to our friends for a period of time, and then they sold it, and they like doubled their money in Guelph. Mm-hmm. Even with the tenants living there that whole time, the value still went up just because it was located well. So I don't know.
Well, I think your value will go up, and I think, yes, you can probably get more rent, but I just hate when people are looking at it like, how do I suck the most amount of this? I don't care about putting in a good tenant. So personally, I think if you have a reduction in students in an area, I actually think that's good for the overall area. Like I think rents would be good if they came down. I think that would be good.
Right.
I think house prices would be good if they came down, because then I would have more people that could buy houses. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I bought long enough ago that, like, totally jealous, that's the wrong word. Totally selfishly, I wish everything would come back down to what I paid, because then I could upgrade for $6,000 or $7,000 or $600,000 or $700,000
instead of
end
$1
up
million
in like some acreage somewhere.
Right. I want to quickly hit on the comments here so we don't miss anything. James, welcome. Thanks for getting up early. Tom, what's your outlook on GTA detached market? I think detached is going to do well because everybody wants it. I really do. They're not building any more of it. Is it worth buying a Toronto condo in 2025 first quarter if you're going to own it for 5 years and you buy a building that has a wow factor, meaning good floor plan, good view, loft style? I think you'll be fine in 5 years. But the next 18 months, I can't guarantee anything.
What's the longest you've ever owned a single piece of property? That's not very long.
That's actually a really funny question. You know what? What's the longest I've ever owned one property? I think I've had mortgage renewals, so about 6 years, I think.
Yeah.
Is the longest but I was, now that I'm a bit older and have a family, I'm going to be staying in the same place.
My first condo was 4, townhouse was 4.
Yeah.
House I'm in now is now like 11 and a half. And then I had an investment property in there that was like probably about that 4. Look at this. See, it does the stupid thing. You can't see it. It's going to pop up over there. It's going to pop up there. And then I'm at like almost 4 years now in my current investment condo, and I'm like getting the itch. Like, I don't know. It's a real pain in the ass.
Why property tax is low compared to listing price? I think maybe that question would be, why is the assessed value in Toronto of the house lower than the market value? It is. I know it's different in your market.
Over the map.
For the most part, like, there are homes where the assessed value would be, I don't know, 900 grand in Toronto that sell for 1.8 million every single week. Mm-hmm. The assessed value is always low. It's a 4-year phased in. They did increase our taxes this year, but I don't know the exact reason. Well, I think the city of Toronto, the reason the property taxes are lower is because we have so much commercial business, where the property taxes are much higher in the burbs.
Ours aren't that far off, but you have to remember. So if you have your property tax assessment, it comes in, I think, like first week of January.
Yeah.
The actual assessed time is July 1st of the year before, so 6 months earlier or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a best guess. So if the market's gone up or down, that's why it can be like, it's used to be the dads used to walk in and be like, I will pay 10% above assessed and that's all I'm going to pay. Or on the listing side, I need 20% above assessed or that's all. I don't know why people trust assessed values more than the agent doing the evaluation, right? I know agents are usually a whole heck of a lot closer on price than appraisers are.
Normally. Well, because they're in the market every day.
They don't have to prove the sale.
Right. True.
Appraisers don't have to prove a sale.
Yeah.
They just go, it's worth this. And everybody's like, oh, the appraiser said. And then it doesn't sell for that much.
All right. I'm going to do rapid fire here. What's your thoughts on recent uptick in pre-con receiverships? Is it going to impact the future supply? Yeah, it will. I don't know if you got on a little bit later, but by 2028, like nothing new is coming to the market. But I do think there's pain in the middle there. Absolutely. Is the pre-con only advisable for investors, or is it a bad idea if you plan to live in it detached? So low-rise pre-con, I think, is a whole different conversation.
Because it's usually, 6 months to a year and a half away?
Well, probably a bit longer than that, but it's totally different than a high-rise condo. I would just say, like, I know I've kind of been talking crap about pre-con for 5 years because I just thought the price gap made no sense. It was like, just go buy resale.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been validated by what's happened, but just if you're going to buy new construction, just at least educate yourself on what it costs to buy resale right now. And I understand people like the extended deposit. I get all that, but new construction low rise, I think, is an interesting opportunity because at least in Toronto, they're not really building much of it. That's probably in a market outside Toronto.
But do you think right now with where, like, let's say something was launching today, it doesn't come to the market for 6 or 7 years?
Yeah.
This is probably the time that is smart to start buying.
You know what? Well, you're right. It's like, because no one's buying pre-con now, probably if you can get into a project like under 1,200 a square foot in Toronto, in the city at downtown Toronto, in 6 or 7 years, it's probably gonna look pretty good. But it's gonna take. It's the gap is still too big. Like the resale values haven't changed. Like there's people that paid $1,600 a square foot.
Insane. For
a new construction downtown condo,
and then looking to flip it.
And they're all investors, and it's a building full of they all went up for rent at the same time. Where across the street in an established building, it's selling for $1,000 right now. So that gap's just too big. I wouldn't be getting into it, but I also recognize if nobody buys pre-con, we're gonna have an issue on our hands in the future. Good morning from Whitehorse, Yukon. Welcome, Steve. How low of an offer is too low percentage-wise? House has been on the market for 2 months, and there's been no price change.
In Whitehorse?
Yeah.
I mean, go low.
Just give a general.
Okay, so I think in our market right now, the average list-to-sale ratio is like 96.8% or something. And then the average days on market is like 28 days.
Sure.
So if I go, and this is a stupid calculation, I understand, but it's just kind of like a guardrails, right? It's like driving drunk with a thumb on both lines. Like it's about here. So the thumbs up again on this stupid thing. I got to figure out how that works.
Stop giving thumbs up.
I know. But so if I look at that, like, let's say 97% and 28 days, that's kind of where I go, okay, if something's been on the market for 90 days, definitely the price needs to come down more than 3%. Right. So the frustrating part is when you get offers right now that are totally unrealistic and your seller's unrealistic. Let's say your seller's 20 or 30K over realistic, and then the offer comes in 50, 60K below market. Now you're 80 to 100K apart.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, everybody's just getting silly here. And that's what happens when you overprice your property. You do get lowballs. People don't realize that either.
I would just say to the person that asked this question, whatever realtor you're working with up there, ask them what the average days on market is. Get a sense of that type of property, what sold recently, what was the percentage it got of the asking price, and that will probably give you a...
But you know how many people want to know how much they can get off, right? Like, how much can I... You ever have that client that's like, I just want a big discount off the price? There are those people, because then they think they're getting a big deal, like the asking price actually means anything.
Right.
I just want
Well, yeah,
basically
money off asking doesn't mean deal.
you just want somebody to hurt. Is that what you want?
Oh, no, but no. Everyone wants to feel like they won.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily they want the other person to hurt.
I've had a few.
Well, some are like
I've
that.
had a few.
Told by the bank that the assessed value in some places is just land value. Interesting.
That could be.
Do you guys see a lot of sellers that are now on the sidelines waiting for supply to go down? As it seems the prices are generally down and months of inventory is generally up lately. Yes.
Yes.
I probably have 15 condo sellers that are like, I'd like to sell, but I'm not doing it till things get a little bit better. And I'm like, all right, I'll call you when that time comes.
But we're still getting worse.
Well,
So
we're
it's
getting
like
worse
we
right
gotta
now.
wait
Yeah.
for the down, and then, yeah, I think people think it's just going to rush back, and could be a silly decision in condos, particularly in your market.
I think one of us is a little bit louder than the other. I'm guessing I'm the quiet one because maybe I was back a little bit, but we'll figure that out. I have to go play pickleball.
Right.
Sale 17. Oh, so yeah. So there you go. Like for a sale price at almost 1.8 million, that's fairly low taxes. I guess it depends where it is. You don't have to spend money again, but just put in the chat. Just let us know where that property is located.
That's about right for my place, though. Like that's almost the numbers on my house.
My taxes are higher than that. Yeah, the property tax is low compared to the listing price. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't want my listing price to be.
Oh, I'm the loud one. Can you turn me down a little bit?
Did I just?
Turn me down a little bit.
Just turned you up.
Okay. Usually I'm the quiet one. Negative cash flow in a condo.
How about now?
Yeah, don't turn yourself up. I'm negative cash flow. Oh, you're gonna mute me? Let me finish.
Stop typing so fast, everyone. Tom can't read that fast.
Yeah. But I do agree that tax does seem a little low for that asking price. I don't know if that's a sale price or the asking price. Negative cash flow in a condo bought this year when prices were coming down. I can hold for the next 3 to 4 years, but hoping to make some money on appreciation. Am I in for disappointment? I think the next 12 to 18 months, you will feel disappointed-ish. After that, I don't know. Like, eventually people are going to be interested again. But when you look at what's going to the market in 2025, it's hard to believe it's going to be then. Mm-hmm. But if you can hold for 4 years, yeah. I mean, everything we're saying right now is probably going to be wildly wrong in either direction.
Of course it is. So, look at what interest rates did.
Like,
we missed interest rates by a friggin' mile.
It says Treb. Yeah, if interest rates stay around 3.5, which is probably where the dust settles here.
Yeah, it does say that right there. That's what you were missing.
Oh, okay. If interest rates stay around 3.5, I don't see investors rushing to buy real estate. The margins and risk on buying investment properties don't beat putting money in the GIC.
GICs are not what you think they are anymore.
They're guaranteed,
They're
Steven.
going the other way.
But where's a GIC right now? I don't even know.
It's not that great.
4?
Maybe, not even. It's
Okay.
headed downwards. Depends how long you want to lock in for. Like I moved a bunch of money into GICs a year ago. And I'm just like, I should have put that in a 5-year. I put in like 1, 2, and 3 years. Right. I don't know. The day of GIC, it was also the highest GICs I think my money guy said he's ever seen in his 25 years.
So here's my question, because that's a really good point to bring up. If rates settle in around 3.5, is that attractive enough to the average investor, not seasoned person, but average, like, oh, I'd like to buy an investment property?
I think so.
You think that's attractive enough to get in? Because you're not going to cash flow unless you put down 50%.
Anything below 4.5% is a great rate.
A great rate for you as a homeowner, but I'm talking about as an investment property. You still feel the same way as an investment property?
What's the diff? Do I need ultra low rates to become an investor? That's what caused the whole problem in the first place.
Well, so that's the thing. It's like if it remains in that range and it's not enticing to investors, less pre-construction condos get built. And then does that weirdly, in a weird way, push up the prices in 5 years from now?
Eventually.
But then if investors come back anyways, then they just push up the prices faster because now they're coming back and competing with the end users. Because it seems to me like most of the, just to give context, like in the Toronto Real Estate Board, I don't know if I said this on a recent episode, but in the Toronto Real Estate Board, we're going to end this year around 68,000 sales. We did 125,000 in 2021. Now, that was like a really crazy year. But we're normally like in the 85 to 90,000 range. So if I look at current transactions right now in the market, it is people with a strong want or a need that are moving. I'm moving back to Toronto. I got a new job. I just had a new kid. It's an estate sale. We want to sell it. Like there's strong wants or needs, but there's no investors just like being like, oh, this is a great deal. I got to buy it.
Yeah.
Numbers don't add up.
Yeah. The numbers still don't add up. It's people that want to have principal pay down over time right now. Most of my investors are under 30. They're actually living at home right now. Most of the investors we have are living at home. They'll have good jobs. They live with their parents. They're often single children, and they've saved a ton of money. They work hard.
And they're staying at home?
I don't mean this in any way to any of you out there, but they're often kind of like nerdy single guys, right? They're not going out drinking like I was at that age. They're not going out on massive, spending vacations.
Not everyone can be cool like
fancy
Steve.
cars. They're not doing any of that stuff. They're being smart. And they're staying at home. They should probably try and get out dating. But I'm just saying like that's the type of person that's investing. So they're people that are sacrificing in their youth, and they're younger than you think. And then you have the other side of things where people are struggling while they're older. So I don't know.
Any hope for improvements of the Landlord-Tenant Board? I don't think so.
What do you mean? The BC NDP is improving them every single second of every day.
Hey, at least it's not just an Ontario issue. You got equal issues on your side.
No, we're putting in more restrictions, which is even sillier. Which is actively driving landlords out of the business, by the way.
Yeah. Well, no, it 100% it is. People are scared. And because when something bad happens, CBC, CTV, me, you, Daryl, TK, everyone else will do.
Who?
Yeah, those guys. They'll do a segment on a terrible, shocking story that happened with a tenant that hasn't paid, and it just scares everyone out of it.
Yeah. Well, did you send me one, or did I send it to you, where it was like another above guideline increase,
right? From like some software? Was it that one?
No. It was a company that was issuing above guideline increases to their tenants, and then I read the details. It was a 3-bed in the city of Toronto, rented for $1,432.
Yeah, and
the increase was to $1,700. What could you get if you had to rent a new 3-bed today?
Oh, I mean,
like it was a family of 4 in a 3-bed.
Is this a condo or a house?
It's a condo. I'm assuming older, not fancy.
I mean, the newer ones would be over 3,000.
Yeah,
for sure.
So like above guideline increase. Okay. But still way better than what you could get.
Right.
And why do we have this theory that tenants shouldn't also have their rents or just costs go up when the homeowner has their costs go up every 5 years?
Right.
That's not okay. So I don't know. It's all silly. You think we're going to fix it here today on this show?
We're going to fix it here today.
By the end of the show, which is another 2.5 minutes, unless we want to keep
maybe
going.
We'll go a little long because everyone's here.
We're going to fix the Canadian real estate market.
Someone put about a rate that they took. Can you scroll up there for me, Steve? I want you to answer this because I think you'd be pumped for them.
Right here.
I just logged into 5-year at 4.2. Was that an okay move?
Great job.
Yeah, I think so
If
too.
you're happy with the payment, I think that's a great job. I don't think we're going to see 5-year fixed come down maybe below 3.79 at the absolute best. So I think 4.2 is really, really good. I'd be super happy with that. I'm not yet looking at that for myself for my renewal.
I wanted to share a thought.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I actually do have a thought I want to share that I've waited till near the end of this live stream.
Should we keep going, folks, or do you want to hear Tom's thought?
Yeah, let us know.
Go, Tom.
So I had made a video a few weeks ago, and we had talked about it on the last episode with Mike about every time the Bank of Canada increases or decreases rates, the economy takes 12 to 18 months to feel the full effect, right? Mm-hmm. So I made a video just going over the last time we went up in rates, prices dropped dramatically. And I actually got a lot of people being like, hey, this doesn't make sense because of this and that and this. So I went back to look, and I think the conclusion that I've come to, and I'd love to know in the comments here if people think I'm off on this. I'm just trying to figure it out. When rates went up fast, prices dropped fast. When rates are going down relatively fast right now, prices aren't going up. In fact, they're still dropping in some segments of the market.
Because both have fear.
Because both are the Bank of Canada doing something and the market is uncertain. So I bet, I don't know this for sure because this is just a thought right now, I'm speaking out loud. If we looked at all the times there's been certainty with no changes in the overnight rate for an extended period of time, that's likely when you see most of the growth. So when rates go up or down, you're going to see the uncertainty until they've stopped for a while. Like, I guess it's true. Like, even when they're done bringing down rates, whatever number they get to, someone said they're going to do 50 points in December and 50 in January.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
But okay, so if you think about that, like for instance, in the pandemic, I know you had all that like craziness of like, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
All that sort of nut stuff. But prices didn't really take off. They did, I guess, in detached first, but like condo prices didn't take off.
No, they dropped
like halfway through 2021.
2021, we were calling the year of the condo because they sucked so much in 2020. Like at the beginning of this whole thing, condos dropped and houses went crazy.
So like when rates didn't change for a year, that's when the market took off in condos.
So maybe that's what we have to look. We need the dust to settle here and feel that it's safe to enter. Because if I'm a buyer right now and I don't own a property, and even though the fixed rate may have kind of bottomed out where it is right now for a period of time, I might think, you know what, I'm gonna see what happens with the next 2 rate cuts or rate announcements, and then I'll make a decision again after that. Right?
It's crazy if we get down. What are we at? 375 right now? We're at 375 and we're gonna get to 275, so we need another. Do you think we're gonna get to 225 or 275 overnight rate? So are we going to go down another full percent, or are we going to go down 1.5% from where we're at right now?
I don't know. I don't know what the inflation numbers are for
That's true.
the next report.
They're not out.
If builders, that's a great question. If builders allowed assignments to be on MLS, what would happen with the market? It would be crazy.
Our builders don't even allow assignments anymore. So
at all,
yeah,
even private, like
only
done off
crappy builders will let you do that,
right?
Like inexperienced ones who are worried about the deal, just not. But anybody that's like a good builder that's for sure going to have the building complete, they will not let you sign for anything. Sometimes it will be with their permission and a 2% fee or something. So all you basically get screwed either way. So yeah, assignment is not as big a deal. There's one condo building that is under that you can assign right now, I think, in Surrey.
On MLS?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But the developer still has like half the units.
Yeah.
And it's like almost completed.
It should almost be like if they ever did allow them on MLS, there was a different sale category called assignment, right?
That's because you must be working for Freeland and Tiff Macklem.
Oh yeah, those are our bosses. Did we never said that?
I mean,
they technically are they not?
This person's our boss. They give us $5.
Oh, thanks for the $5. That's awesome. Okay. Any final thoughts here, Steve? Let's wrap up with.
We're having fun. You should do this more often. Maybe we will see what the YouTube numbers tell us after the fact.
Steve, you're gonna bring the mustache back in?
No.
You're not gonna bring back from Movember?
No. Too costly. Get me a divorce. I'm surprised 2.4 is good for 5 years.
Yeah. Ron probably said to take a variable because it'll probably go lower. But if we're talking about the fixed, I think that rate is good. It's really good.
Yeah.
But if you're a riskier person, take the variable.
I mean, variable is going down right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a good argument for a fixed payment variable right now.
Right.
That could actually help people that are bad with their money.
Yeah, I do think the variable ends up lower than the fixed.
It has to.
It's probably going to get to the mid 3s or lower, depending on what happens here eventually.
Yeah. Stocks, ETFs are doing good. I agree. Yeah, everything's great.
Was there anything else we had that we wanted to talk about?
You want to go further back up?
Polyev says if he gets in, he's removing GST from new home sales.
It's like item number 3.
Yeah,
on our list
we
to
haven't
talk about. Let's go through these. So real quick. So do you think GST on home sales under $1 million? Good, bad, ugly?
I think it's good. I think what will happen is the municipalities that have these home sales are going to see that there's no GST and they're going to raise their development fees and cover the difference, and it's not going to mean anything.
So I was talking to a developer that I've sold property to in the past just the other day, and he was working on I think he said 50 lot subdivision, which is not a common thing in our market.
Right.
So it's a big parcel. And the whole thing is basically waiting to be approved at a particular city in the Lower Mainland. And then the last line item that the city just added was a voluntary development fee for $7.5 million. And they will not approve the deal until this voluntary development fee, which is just a new fee. Like they've already had park fees, they've already had development fees, they've had sewer.
This was news to them. It came out of nowhere.
It was just like, yeah, all this works now. And by the way, voluntary development fee.
So if you put voluntary in front of any other word, it's just a new way of saying bribe without saying bribe.
Yeah, that's what I said to the guy. I'm like, it's a bribe. He's like, it's totally a bribe. And by the way, it's voluntary, and they won't authorize the deal until you pay the voluntary fee. It's so stupid. Development fees.
Okay, we got that. I saw a few people sent me this TikTok, and it was a realtor, and they had been working in the business for 1 year, and they decided to get their whole arm tattooed with little pictures of all the houses they sold in their first year. So
no tattoo.
I was wondering if maybe you would do the same. Also, a few final thoughts here. Tons of canceled relists in the Toronto market. I think it's up to 35% of the active listings have been canceled and brought back.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have. That's pretty regular.
But no, it's not. The percentage, at least, I think, is a lot higher than it's ever been.
But I mean, in a regular market, you got to refresh a listing, you got to cancel it, bring it back on with a new picture, a lower price, all that sort of stuff.
Steve, 590, 28th floor, good price for a condo in Surrey.
I mean, it really depends. 590 better be a 2-bed. Better be an 800 plus square foot 2-bed, I think.
You can get it for that good price per square foot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. You're not.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. The micro condo stuff is actually only within the last 6 or 7 years in Surrey. I guess completions within the last 6 or 7 years. There's no reason why I think people should be buying crazy deals in Surrey. Like we're seeing 800 square foot places for $880, and I'm just like, it makes no sense when you can buy that exact same thing for $650.
Right. If everything's getting expensive, then why do some condo buildings have low maintenance fees? Yeah, I've never had anyone tell me they thought condo fees were low.
People don't understand condo fees, though. It's like how much of your condo fee is. I'm not going to put my hands up anymore because I keep getting symbols and stuff. Condo fees are mostly insurance. They're a lot that sometimes like they're city utilities and things like that. A lot of the time they're gardening if you're in a low rise. So people don't really understand where their maintenance fee is going to. They think it's just the strata using it as a vacation fund. That's not what it is. Be educated and also understand that in detached homes, most people do almost no maintenance on their homes, especially exterior maintenance.
I would look at if you're buying a condo in Toronto, your price per square foot for condo fees is also important, not just what you pay for the unit, but how large is your unit? Do you have parking? Do you have locker? And what are you paying per square foot? And I would say, like, ideally, I'd like it to be under 85 cents. But there are many buildings that aren't even 10 years old that are $1 a square foot now. So condo fees have really, really gone up.
What is mine? Let's go.
Steve, birth rate is declining in my area. Almost 50% of the people who own a house are old. Yep. The home will eventually come to the market for rent or sale. Immigration is going down. Yep. That is all. That's all true.
It's declining.
That's
People
all
just
true.
Don't like doing it anymore. Let's say.
John, I actually cut my own hair. That's why it's so consistent. I learn on YouTube.
You what?
I cut my own hair. Yeah.
You do what?
I just I put on a YouTube video. You can learn anything you want in life on YouTube.
You don't cut your own hair. Are you telling me the truth right now?
No, I was trying to make a dumb joke.
Oh, that is a dumb joke.
Okay.
I'm like, come on. I pay $10 for my haircuts though.
You pay 10. Yeah, I think the real question, you pay $10 for your haircut?
I pay $10 and I tip them $20.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna tell you what I pay because you'd be so mad at me.
Oh, I would be mad at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not a better haircut. Look, I mean, maybe you get charged for having more hair. But I go every 2 weeks. It costs me $20.
I think your hair looks good.
I'm starting to get an old man eyebrow. Like, you know, the ones that make you look like an evil character in the 20s, like silent films. I'm starting to get one of those. Real estate.
Okay.
We're going long. We're 10 minutes over. You want to keep going? Let us know if you want us to keep going.
I want to wrap this up.
I might have to get a cocktail.
No, I know my kids and
oh, that's right.
They want to come back here soon, so we got to wrap up. But okay, I want to give you 5 key takeaways from Urbanation. They presented to our office last week. So number 1, we had some pickup in home buying activity in September and October, but mainly the low rise market. Okay, that's kind of clear. The combination of new mortgage rules and lower interest rates is expected to improve affordability by 20%, which should eventually trigger more sales. So purchasing power is up, meaning you can take on more debt, which means you're approved for more, which means eventually that will impact the market. It looks like fixed rate mortgages are already pricing in all the future rate cuts. So that's something that they made very clear. The condo market will likely require a longer period of adjustment before conditions stabilize. Lower immigration targets and a decline in non-permanent residents combined with a record high condo completions will create a more balance in the rental market over the next year or two. And I think very much in the sale market as well.
Love it.
And the dramatic pullback in condo sales and construction activity will result in a steep drop-off in completions in 3 years, causing further supply issues that will put upward pressure on prices and rent. So it's like, I know we started this by saying it'd be nice if we had a calm market. Probably we're going to have a really weird market for the next little bit, and then it could go crazy again. I don't know when, but these aren't my comments. This is from people much smarter than me.
Well, if you look at 2008, it took until our condo market really dumped in 2007, 2008. And then it took until second half of 16, really 2017 before it took off.
Right.
And then it went gangbusters. Everybody that was like, I'm going to hold until I break even, they sold in late 2016. And by 2017, it had doubled. That was like 1 year.
But that's you
hold on for 8 years. Hold on for 1 more year.
But it's not with the stock market too. Like everyone sells when it gets bad, and then they miss. Like if you held it for 10 years, but you missed like 3 months of time, your investment may have been worth 30% less.
I had a bunch of CIBC stock that I sold the other day because it was so high, and I'm like, there's no way it's worth that.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah. We shall see. Tom, do you know what time it is now?
It is 10:12 a.m.
It is, well, okay, maybe. I was just thinking it's time that we wrap up. And so all of you can now go watch the second best real estate podcast in the country. And Tom, the second best real estate podcast in the country is?
Oh, the Looney Hour.
The Looney Hour.
Go check out what Steve's talking about.
Go check out Steve Saretsky.
Yep.
And his folks there. And maybe they're first even. Maybe we're second.
I think they're first. I don't know if they classify themselves as the real estate podcast,
think they do anymore. But
more,
they got Steve Saretsky on, so they're
macroeconomics. That was fun. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. If you like this, let us know. We'll do it again in the future if we can. And if
they're really nerve-wracking because if we don't have it out or something happens on the internet, we're really, really screwed. So thank you, Elon Musk, with Starlink for bringing this to us because we're hidden actually at Tom's cottage and we're not even in Toronto.
Yeah, we lied with the title. I'm sorry, guys, but we'll be back.
Who's clickbait?
We'll be back in Toronto tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you get subscribed. Our next goal is 6,000. And thank you for everyone that donated today. That's certainly not something
surprise
that we were expecting, but I guess we can afford breakfast this morning.
And so thank you to Realty Ninja.
Yep.
realtyninja.com/Tom. Save 20% off your first year. Don't pay anything until you launch. Use them. I use them. They're affordable. I like everything. Is it going to do it? I don't want another thumbs up.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing weekend. I hope you enjoyed your extra hour of sleeping. And also, I hope you enjoyed yesterday being the last time it's going to be light outside at 6 p.m.
It's 4:30 today.
Because today and moving forward, 4 p.m., darkness. So enjoy your early mornings, get up early, enjoy the day, and thank you everybody for watching, listening. If you are watching this on the replay, make sure to get in the comments, let us know what you thought. And if you're listening on the audio platforms, I'm sorry this came in a little bit later today, but we had to do it live. There you go.
Bye.
Bye.
Tom, don't say anything because I'm going to end the stream and it can sometimes take some time. Don't swear.
Anyways, Steve, so that thing you were telling me